Bopping heads, there's no stopping it. Mainly when the music is classic. You know when you have that album, you can play every track back to back. Asking everybody, have you heard of that? I know you heard of poets exposing their most personal notions over some of the dopest instrumentals. One time for your mental, two times for your mental. Just tell us what you were into by putting your vote in for your favorite classics. Hey, it won't take long. Go to thatinhiphop.com. It'll be up every month for you to choose and for us to review. Shit, we taking it back, y'all. Take it back. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rock with That in Hip Hop, and we are here to do the monthly classic album reviews. Today we're gonna do Biggie, Ready to Die, which is one of my favorites. So we got B-Dub here.
What up, Dub? What up,
Pretty
Dub?
Kenny.
That's right.
To my left.
Pretty Kenny, really.
Pretty as a motherfucker.
DB over here.
DB dangling ball. What up, son?
Light Bright.
Yeah.
Speedy. AKA Light Bright.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, so Ready to Die. Biggie.
This album, Ready to Die, man, so many memories with this album. This was actually my first CD that I purchased with my money. And my mother had got me that same year, 94, my mother got me a CD player. Finally retired my cassette player, my boom box. So I had got a CD player, went to Fairlane Mall. And it's funny because like I had a Tommy Hilfiger shirt on, similar to this, except the lines was going this way, was going vertical, and it was navy blue and red. So I was rocking my Tommy Hilfiger, my little Eddie Bauer jeans and shit. And it was me and two of my best friends went to the music store. Got Ready to Die. I said, man, I heard Juicy and Unbelievable. I was like, okay. When I heard Unbelievable, I was sold. I was like, yeah. When I heard Primo flip that, put a R&B track in the hip hop track, I was sold. I was sold. And Biggie, like, he massacred that track. So when I mean, and that's when, like I said, he used to play all the great songs on the radio. So I heard Juicy, I was like, okay, dope, Rags the Richest song. Unbelievable, I was sold. I was like, I'm getting this album. So got the album. I remember when got it. My boy got Spice One, America's Worst Nightmare.
Yeah, America's Worst Nightmare.
Got that one, and my other boy had got a Method Man to Kyle. He had got that one. And I was like, I got the best album out of all y'all. Yeah. Y'all was like, I remember I was telling him, I was like, man, I got the best album out of all y'all. I said, I bet you my album gonna be flawless. So listen to it, things done changed. I was like, shit. Yeah, like this, and then it's funny because you can still listen to that song now and be like, man, that shit was kind of like ahead of his time, the way the stuff that Biggie was talking about on that. And then it went to Gimme the Loot. You know what? Also, shout out to P. Diddy, man. Like, hate him or love him, P. Diddy created a formula. I think that a lot of street rappers, or I guess so-called street rappers, are doing from that album on to now, which is like, okay, give him the Juicy, give him the Big Papa. Let the people, let's bring the radio to it first. Mm-hmm. But Diddy was like, I'm gonna still give you your street style. You still got Gimme the Loot. You still got Warning. You still got Everyday Struggle. You still got the what? I'm gonna get on that later. You still got that. You got Suicidal Thoughts. You got Unbelievable. And then also, I think this producer, he didn't get enough props back in the 90s, but Easy Mo B. I think he was another one that really kind of molded that New York sound back then with a lot of the tracks he did on that. And he also produced for Tupac as well too. But I thought Easy Mo B is one of the most slept on, East Coast producers, because he molded that East Coast. Well, what I thought when I was listening to that album, like, okay, this is the New York sound. This is the New York feel that I get from that album. I thought Easy Mo B, he captured that very well on that track. I mean on this album actually, with Warning, I think Everyday Struggle, Ready to Die, the title track. Give Me the Loot, one of my favorite tracks on there. And the what? Man, a lot of people, I know I always have debates on this about, if it was an MC that people thought that outshined Biggie. I really thought Method Man did his thing on that track. Even though they both was going crazy, they was going at it. And I feel that's still my favorite Biggie duet track. I like it better than Brooklyn's Finest. I know people, J fans, whatever. That joint was dope, but I put the what over Brooklyn's Finest any day. The way that them dudes was going at it, man, I love it. And Method Man was just, that's what Method Man was just at his rawest and his best at that time. And Bring the Pain Method Man, like he came on there and just did his thing. I remember I called my boy, I was like, yo, so how your Method Man Takal sound? He's like, yeah, it sound good, it's good. I'm like, nigga, y'all wait till y'all come over here. Cause that's when you used to go over your boys' crib or your friends' crib and listen to whatever albums or tapes that they got. So I'm like, man, wait till y'all come over and check out this Ready to Die. Y'all niggas gonna be blown away. So then I called my other boy, like, yo, so how you like that Spice One? He's like, yeah, man, I was like, is it better than 187 he wrote? And all that other shit. You're like, man, you gotta hear this Ready to Die, man. I'm telling y'all gonna be fucked up. Y'all about to be fucked up right now. So then I remember they came by, listened to it, and they was just like, man, make me copy that shit. They were like, yo, because even though I had just transferred the CDs, you still had blank cassettes. You know, you didn't have blank CDs back then. So they were like, yo, I'm about to go, at the corner store, you can buy your little 3-pack of blank CDs or whatever. So they I sat them down, we listened to it. I'm sitting back like, looking at the reaction like, yeah, nigga, see, told you and shit. So after they got done, they went to the corner store, brought them a little 3-pack cassette tape, and we was listening to it again while they was recording. We were like, you gotta listen to this shit. You had to listen to it while you was recording it. So we was listening to it, recording it, and man, it was crazy, man. Crazy experience. Love it. Love that album.
I think for me, man, I was 18 when that shit came out. It was 94. Wait, hold on. Mike, how old were you? How old were you, Mike?
I was like 13.
You lied. Your ass was 16.
Your ass was like 22 when that shit
Your ass was 16. He already had a job and shit. And I was 18 in high school when that shit came out. And my brother's actually your age. My brother was 16. My brother actually bought the album. Like you, I had the Method Man Takal, I had the Spice One, Outkast shit was out. So for me, when I played the album, I wasn't that high on the album on my first listen. It was cool, but it didn't really grab me. But it's like back then when you had an album, like you would play that shit over and over again because CDs were expensive. You paying $20. You're gonna get your spins out of that shit. Yeah. So I would just.
The game wasn't oversaturated.
Yeah, man, and it wasn't oversaturated, so you can play like these different albums. So I would just rotate albums out. And like you said, you just named some dope albums. I threw in the Outkast and Oz and all kind of other shit come out. Everybody would look up and see what albums came out. So you had a lot of dope shit to play, but you just play it over and over again. The first one that got me was Give Me the Loot. I was like, oh man, that shit right here. That was the first one.
How that bass line come in. Oh god.
And just the whole story he told and everything with that.
And remember, I don't mean to cut you off, but remember how I remember a lot of people thought it wasn't Biggie that was doing that.
I was there.
Maybe that shit fucked me up. Because you kept looking at the credits like,
I didn't find anybody
on here. It's like, where's the additional vocals? Like, who else is on here? It's like, damn, that was Biggie doing that shit, changing that story. That shit was crazy.
You know what's funny? Because that was another reason why I kept listening to it. Because I'm like, man, that gotta be that nigga. Man, I'm like, but then it was Warning, and I like the part at the end, like, oh shit,
got that red dot on your side.
Yeah, I was like, that was cool, and just, man, he was just so sick with that motherfucker, with the Rockwilders, and it was like, man.
It really gives you a picture.
Right, he could paint these pictures when
everyday
he's
struggle.
rapping.
That's the picture. That's the picture. That was a picture he painted so well on Everyday Struggle.
So then that one, of course, I was a big Method fan, so The What was my shit. The What was my shit. Man. And then Suicidal Thoughts. And like you, Suicidal Thoughts was really the song that just did it for me.
Yep.
Because he was like, when I die, fuck it, I want to go to hell.
I'm a piece of shit, it ain't hard to fucking tell. It don't make sense going to heaven with the goody. I like black Timbs and black hoodies. God will probably have me on some real, I got it.
I was like,
no sleeping all day.
My brother was like, nah, man. Biggie was the shit. Biggie was the shit. But like I said, I played it, but I was playing everything else. And when I heard that shit and everything else, it seemed like every time I played it, it was a different song each time that I was like, oh man, this was the shit. Me and my bitch was the shit. And like you said, Everyday Struggle, unbelievable. And shit. And just everything, man. I was like, man, this shit is crazy. Yeah, man. So yeah, I'll never forget that, man. And that's the thing. Like back then, like you probably wouldn't necessarily like everything at like your first listen, but you played it over and over and over again, and you were afforded the time to do that because there wasn't a lot of shit coming out. But the shit that did come out was quality. So man,
Everybody was a rapper back then.
right, exactly.
It wasn't oversaturated, man.
The fact that I played this so much and, you know, it just grew on me to such an appreciation, like, this motherfucker is the truth. Like, his ability, his skill, everything was there, you could hear it. But just like throwing into that album and loving it and putting the album on even to this day.
Yeah, it's still.
Just rapping every lyric and knowing everything and just the emotions that you had just from that time, man. Like I said, man, I was 18, man, and shit, I was a teenager running the fucking streets. Wasn't a bad kid, but I hung around the wrong crowd. So, and peer pressure was a motherfucker, man, and you just listen to that shit, man, and you just in the street, like I said before in one of the other videos. We had a lot of liberty, me and my brother, man, so we would just be out, you know, just everywhere. Come home late, 2, 3 in the morning, coming in and your mom just cussing you out and shit like that, or locking the door, you can't even fucking get in, because she done locked the screen door and shit like that, man, so. Yeah, dog, like you couldn't get, because you had a key to the house and she locked you out, so you trying to go through the window and shit, man. So yeah, I remember all those times, man.
That album takes you back to that.
Yeah, it takes me back to that shit and the dumb shit that I was doing, man. I
Fucking mad hoes, nigga.
don't call me Pretty Kenny for nothing.
It ain't my turn. It's got no.
We going around the table.
Hey, Shun. No, I remember the first time I ever heard Biggie. The funny thing is, it was actually Give Me the Loot. That was the first song I ever heard by Biggie. And I remember the reason somebody played it for me is because I was obsessed with hieroglyphics. And I was obsessed with Del the Funky Homo Sapien. And he has a song called Worldwide, where on that song he rhymes. It's him, but he rhymes through a voice processor. And he says he's a different MC called Unicron. So when you first listen to it, you're like, damn, that Unicron dude is kind of dope too. And then you go back later on, you're like, wow, that was Del. And I remember I was telling a friend of mine about this, because back then I was worse than I am now. Anything that was even remotely close to the radio, I was like, get that shit the fuck out of here. I'm not even gonna listen to it. So my friend was like, nah, man, you gotta hear Biggie. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of name is Biggie? Get the fuck out of here, man. I don't wanna hear no Biggie. So he played Give Me the Loot, and which had the same idea with Biggie rhyming, but like, he was rhyming like through a processor or something that made it sound like it was a younger version of him. And I was listening, I was like, wait a minute, this guy's actually fucking dope. And when, like, I still remember that song. The second I heard it, I was like, this is crazy. And we had that line where he's like, when I rock her and drop her, I'm taking her to the knockers. And if she resists, block, block, block. Oh shit, this is crazy, I love this.
Then he followed up like, so go get your man, bitch. He can get robbed.
Yeah.
I know this whole album front to back. So yeah.
So when I found out this was actually like a commercial rapper, and then I heard Juicy, I was like, wow, this dude is actually like transcending the underground spitterific type shit, but then he's also making stuff that's commercial and accessible for everybody. And then the way he has such a way with words and the way he rides a beat. And then on Warning, when you had the first glimpse of his storytelling, and it's like, wow. And it was just the way he spun shit, you know, it's gonna be a whole lot of slow singing and flower ringing, if my burger alarm starts ringing. I'm like, oh, this does not sound like some shit that I would expect to hear from a radio rapper. So, man, it was just like everything on there, man, just blew me away. Yeah, Suicidal Thoughts. I wasn't used to hearing rappers rhyme like that, talking about fucking I'm gonna go to hell, a piece of shit. I'm like, wow, man, this dude is crazy. Yeah, so raw.
So real.
Yeah, and just honest and just real. So, yeah, man. The only negative I can actually say about this album is it broke one of my #1 rules, and that is I'm not trying to hear somebody fucking on an album. That is the most awkward shit, and I still.
Wait, which one? Which skit?
The one he had the
No, there's only one skit where he's
It was two. He was
Yeah.
getting fixed up. He was getting fixed up.
No. The one where he's fucking.
Oh, so
where
with the
it's
girl-
like both of them just.
And she's clowning him like.
Yeah, she's like, you fat motherfucker.
Yeah.
It was right before the what? It was right before the what? It was right before the what?
Fuck? Okay, I still to this day cannot understand why any rapper, because rappers still do
Yeah, they
this
should do
shit.
that shit, yeah.
Why would you put a skit of yourself fucking. What other man wants to hear you fucking? It makes no sense. And I still to this day remember when it got to that track, it was awkward as fuck because I was driving with my boy in the car.
Wow.
Who was playing it for me.
Oh my God.
So we're driving, I'm like, man, this Biggie shit is crazy, man. Yeah, you right, man, you right, man. Yeah, Dell is fresh, but shit, he ain't Biggie, man. This shit is fuck me, you fat motherfucker.
Frat,
And I'm looking at him like, what in the fuck is going on right now?
That track. When I had my boys come over, I was like, "Boop."
Yeah,
I didn't skip it because I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Oh, that's what you didn't know what was going on.
Like,
Yeah, see, I knew. I told them to come over and check it out.
what the fuck is
But when I knew it was
this?
getting ready that track, I said,
Yeah,
I was like, y'all don't want to hear that.
No.
I was like, y'all hear that on your own time. I ain't about to be in the room with y'all niggas here listening to that
Can't listen to
track.
somebody fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, that album is one of those undeniable classics that I could never understand somebody saying, I don't like Ready to Die.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And
You
it's
can't
not
like
like
hip hop.
yeah, almost.
That's-
It
it
seems
feels
like
like
that.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
one
like,
of
oh,
the-
you must not just not like rap if
Yeah.
you don't like Ready to Die. And it's like I listen to this way more than Life
Life
After
After
Death.
Death. Thank you.
And
I
I
do too.
love Life
I
After
do
Death.
too.
Trust me,
I
I
do
do.
too.
But
I do too.
this album, there's just something about it, man. There's just something about it. Biggie he had a way with making an amazing album.
So, you know, I guess everybody kind of has dated themselves, and you kind of can get the gist of how old everybody else is in that hip hop. But when this album first came out, like, you know, if y'all watch, y'all can tell that certain aspects of hip hop I was brought to late. And in '94, I was in 4th grade, so I wasn't into hip hop like that. But the first thing that got me into Biggie and Diddy and, you know, all the Bad Boy was More Money, More Problems. That's when I was like, holy fuck, who the hell is this nigga Biggie? Like, that's when I first moved to Florida, and my next door neighbor, you know, shout out to my boy Evans, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was like my best friend during that time, and he's really, he introduced me to a lot of hip hop. He's kind of like the gatekeeper to open that door for me. And once I heard More Money, More Problems, I went to the store and I actually bought the single. You know what I'm saying? I remember it was a green CD and everything. And then it's interesting, like, for me with Biggie, because I went backwards. Like, I got More Money, More Problems first, and then I listened to No Way Out. Then I'm like, yo, this dude Biggie is just crazy. And, you know, he wasn't on every song. He was only featured on a couple of them. And then I went back to, I think Life After Death was out at that time. So I listened to, Ready to Die was the last Biggie project I listened to. And yeah, exactly. So I went backwards. And that shit was amazing. Like, every time I dug into Biggie more, it was like, yo, this is the best. This is the best. You know what I'm saying? And obviously at the time I didn't have a lot to compare it to, but as I've gotten older, I still think he's the best. And the reason why, you know, I'm not a rapper myself. I don't, you know, understand song structure and this, that, and the third. But the thing that always captivated me about Biggie was the fact that his pauses, his ad-libs, you know, all of that just sounded so right. It never sounded off. He sounded flawless every time. Every single song of Biggie I heard always sounded flawless. And I think that Ready to Die, I'm glad I went the backwards way, because I feel like I got the best last. You know what I'm saying? So it just got better for me every single time. And this album, like all of you guys said, I can't really add anything else. You know what I'm saying? It was just perfect. But my favorite song on it was Give Me the Loot. You know what I'm saying? Give me the loot, give me the loot. Like that yeah, and you know, like me being so young, I think like when I started getting into this, I think I was maybe like, I was in 7th grade. I think hip hop, what it did for me, man, it made me understand why my environment was how it was. That's what hip hop did for me. And that's exactly what Biggie did for me. Because like I saw people, boom, give me your shit and just take off running. Why are you doing that? Like, you know, like I'm a kid. I'm naive. I'm just saying, you know, I was a kid and my parents did a good job of keeping me away from, like I was close enough to see it, but I was never involved in it. So I never understood why. But that's what Biggie did for me, man. He really made me understand the streets from a different perspective of almost being in it. And I was never in it.
I was introduced by a boyfriend, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Like, ever since then, I mean, like, you can't deny his flow, his delivery, like his content, his storytelling, like everything is flawless, really, to me. All right, thank y'all. Till next time, make sure you put your vote in for next month, March, for the classic album review. Dead in Hip Hop.
I'll get 5,000.
Peace.